Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey in Your Own Backyard. I'm Rob, your host, and today I've got a special guest joining us. It's going to be a lot of fun, good conversation. Darren Lafferty is joining me on the show. Darren, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm really good, and glad that you took the time, and thank you for taking the time to come out and hang out a little bit and let me just kind of chat with you.
Well, you picked a great spot.
Yeah, well, we're about to find out what you think. You haven't been here, right?
I have not.
Okay, so I think you're going to enjoy it. You and I were talking last week, and we were just kind of talking about the show and doing an episode together. And I had asked you about this place, and you said you hadn't been.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be cool to have you come out and try a little bit of his food, Chef Martinez, and get your thoughts on what he's doing out here, what he's putting on the table.
I've been out of Katy. I moved back to Houston about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think this place is relatively new.
It is, less than 2 years.
But I'm excited about they brought out empanadas.
Yeah,
and,
starting with some empanadas.
Golden empanadas, filled one's beef, and I think one's chicken, and
One's going to have some dates and some manchego cheese in there, so you get a little variety there.
they're going to go down. I can promise you, they won't last.
So everybody who doesn't know, we're at Essentials Kitchen over off 1463 here in Katy. Chef Martinez does some cool things here. He's Venezuelan, so he has that South American, that's kind of what he does, but he's Italian chef.
Yep.
He's done Italian food, so he does kind of a fusion. His twist on those two cuisines, he mixes in a little bit of an Asian flair on some of his food and things like that. So it's not strictly, Venezuelan people might come in and go, that's not true Venezuelan food. It's not meant to be.
Sure.
He's kind of putting his twist on it. So
Good.
Really cool things. Hopefully you'll like it tonight as we talk a little bit and try some of his dishes, see what you think.
I love it. I love the idea.
So, people know you around town, around Texas. Supporting local is a big thing that you do, and I didn't know you. Shame on me, right? Didn't know who you were.
Or maybe lucky.
Or nah. You were in a group that I formerly belonged to as well. I'll leave names out of that.
Probably a good idea.
You can twist that here if you want to.
We're good.
Turn that up. And so I think our paths we weren't in there at the same time. I never kind of caught on to who you were, but when I got into the group, Texas Foodies, and Edward in there kind of
Edward
mentioned
Ramirez.
you and had a little thing on there about you and what you do in the community. I thought it was really cool.
Thank you.
And you were nice enough to let me friend you and kind of chat with you a little bit. But you do some really cool things, and it just caught my attention to kind of have a conversation with you about how all this started, because it kind of falls in line with what I do. I love supporting local. I love the little mom and pop places like this.
Absolutely.
Not just for the environment and what you get when you come in, you feel like you're eating at home with family.
Yeah.
But they put some great things on the table as well, and you're a big proponent of that.
I am. So I grew up, my mom's from Louisiana.
Okay.
And so we always had really good comfort meals, and it really resonates with me even as an adult. To be in a loving, warm, tight environment, much like mom and pops provide. And I have a love for food. I have a food science degree. Right out of college, I went into food sales. I went into procurement for a food manufacturer. I bounced around, did a little restaurant management, back into food sales, which ultimately led me to national account sales, the big behemoths out there that are national, and paid the bills.
Yeah.
And it's super tough dealing with national chain accounts. But I think most important, what I learned in dealing with national chain accounts along the way, and I'm going somewhere, is that they have these big support systems. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's personnel.
Sure.
But there's a lot of nets, right, to be able to caught. If you fall down, there's a lot of nets to catch you. And what draws me back to mom and pops and staying with mom and pops and supporting mom and pops is they don't have the same comforts as a big national chain account does. They don't have the safety nets.
Yeah. All eggs are in the basket.
That's right. So I love to support mom and pops because I think, they are the backbone of the community. They are the ones that leverage their 401k, get rid of all of their savings for a dream of, opening up a restaurant.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
think he's giving you a bite of some paella here.
Just wanted to let you try that paella and let you see how it was.
Okay, yeah, it's beautiful.
But that's some paella there.
Thank you. So my love for mom and pops stemmed from home. home cooked meals, Southern comfort meals. And as I worked my way through the food industry, there was an appreciation for all aspects of channels of food restaurant business. And so, but I was always drawn back to small, independent, even if it was 5 or 6 locations, I feel like I still need to support 5 or 6 locations.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And for me, it was always, or it is still always, I kind of liken it to, if you drink wine in a certain spot, the environment, the people you're with, kind of makes that bottle maybe taste a little better than maybe it really does.
Absolutely.
And so when I go to a mom and pop, I love it because it's not just the food that's usually really, really good.
Right.
The environment's usually cool, but getting to talk to the chef and the owner and the staff and having those personal relationships just makes it a place that you enjoy eating a meal more than just going to a big chain place.
Look, the hospitality industry, in my opinion, is about service.
Absolutely.
And everyone wants to, regardless of it's a bar or a restaurant or quick serve or whatever it is, every customer wants to feel special. And they want to have a connection. They want to be the norm at Cheers. When you walk in, they want to, and I'm telling you, in my own opinion, if the food is pretty good, but the service is outstanding, I'm going back to that restaurant for some service because I feel special. I feel like I'm getting a great value.
Yeah.
And overall, it's a great experience for me. So I have a tendency to lean towards smaller restaurants because of that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. The other thing I like about it is the places I've been and the people I know in these small and mom and pop places, they want the feedback. They want to be told, what you like, what you don't, what can they do better to, enhance that experience when you come in. And I think that's great because a lot of places, bigger chains, you don't get that opportunity to give that feedback, or at least it's not heard the way you think it should be.
I agree 100%. The difficult part of the feedback is you have to know how to approach each person, each owner, right? Because some are more sensitive than others.
Sure.
Some are more evolved than others, emotionally, social media-wise. They want to make a difference in their community. And quite honestly, they have everything to lose if they don't.
Absolutely.
And so it's touchy, but that definitely is a platform that I enjoy, and I would agree that the customers want a chance to fix something if you're not happy.
Man, if they don't know it's broken, they can't fix it.
Absolutely.
So, and my rule on local places is, in any place I go to for that matter, Darren, no place is perfect every night.
Of course.
Chefs can have a bad night.
Yep.
Personal things can be going on in somebody's life that just it wasn't up to par that night. So I always go back twice, and we'll always give a restaurant at least a second chance. I mean, I'm a big believer in that. I'm also a big believer in don't have a bad experience or bad food and get on social media and beat a place up. And nothing drives me nuts more than somebody thinking that's the way to address the issue or solve the problem. Talk to the manager, talk to the chef, talk to the owner. Typically, to your point earlier, they're receptive to that. Man, they want to fix the problem. They want to make sure that you leave with a good feeling about what you had.
Keyboard combatants or keyboard commandos drive me nuts. And I'll be the first one to try and send a nice note back and say, hey, did you give the owner, did you give the manager, did you give someone the opportunity to have a conversation around what your concerns were? Because it's not going to be perfect every night. I mean, you want it to be, and I do too. But the truth is, as you said, everyone is human in there. And look, that customer is not perfect either. If they just sit back, take a deep breath, and realize that, hey, they've made some bad meals at home too, right?
Right.
They've had some bad days at work also. You would have a lot more grace on these mom and pops and independents than getting on a Yelp or getting on a Facebook or getting on to somewhere and writing some nasty review because it's Monday morning and you're a Monday morning quarterback.
Exactly.
It's a tough spot to be in.
Totally agree. So I got to ask you, one of the things I've seen that you're known for is you take some great photos. Food photos are kind of your thing.
Thank you.
And I think you're known for that. Does that be fair to say? I mean, again, I'm getting to know you. So.
Cell phones make it really easy to take pictures now.
Yeah.
Right. And so I like to document my experience at restaurants. If I can get some decent lighting and I can do some justice to the plate, then I'll post a picture of it. But it's not my job, but it's more of a desire to put something out that people who eat with their eyes, and I eat with my eyes, and I eat with my nose, my senses, and I hear people talk about food. I use all my senses to enjoy a meal. It's the same with the eyes. So I try to put something decent out.
Yeah, well, you do a great job, man.
I appreciate
Your photos look awesome. And that led me to the question of, You weren't a photographer first then.
I was not. No,
Yeah,
no.
and then said, hey, I'm going to start taking pictures of food. Food just kind of got you to go, hey, I think I can take some pretty cool photos
Look,
of these things.
food is the platform. Some people play golf.
Yep.
Some people play video games. Some people do whatever they do. I do food, right?
Yeah.
I'm eating food. I'm talking about food. I write about food a little bit. I have a food podcast as well.
Yep.
And I like to do photography. So it's kind of what I'm into.
Not only are you into it, people kind of seek you out now for that, don't they?
There's a few. There's been some opportunities over the last couple of years.
Which I think is fantastic, man. That's pretty cool that you've gotten good. I mean, it's not just that you take pictures of food and the food looks good. You are creative in the way you kind of set up your pictures. I mean, you've got some skill there.
Well, when you enjoy something, right, it's easy to throw yourself into it. And I just happen to enjoy food, and I
Yeah.
just happen to deal with mom and pops, and I want to do a good job for them. I'll say this. I don't walk into a restaurant and start soliciting pictures. I go in, if I have a great experience and I have a great connection with that restaurant, I want to help them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's at my core to help them be successful because I believe in them and I believe in the process. And photography is just my sort of outlet. So look, some people are really good writers. I'm not a good writer.
Yeah.
Some people take really great video. I don't pretend to know how to do really good video. I know people who do.
Sure.
But I can push a button on a camera and I can try and get the right lighting and I can get some angles and then I get to eat the food. So I mean, it's a win-win for me.
Yeah, can't lose there, right? But to your point earlier, I think it's great because we talked about, the big corporate chains and them having all the nets and
Sure.
the backing, specifically financially. Most of these mom and pops, like you said, everything goes into getting it started and
Yep.
keeping it running. So anything we can do in the community as far as pictures and posting and
Sure.
trying to, drive some interest in getting people into these places, I think they absolutely appreciate that.
100%.
And it's a key to helping them succeed.
Absolutely. Look,
Yeah.
social media is such a big part now of a restaurant's existence. There's some mom and pops who are old school. They don't see the need in it. They don't quite understand it yet. And I completely agree. I see where they're coming from. But anymore, you talk to any restaurant experienced individual, and he will tell you that social media will absolutely drive sales through his tables.
Absolutely.
And so helping the mom and pops understand that and then giving them something that they also agree and like is part of helping to educate them, helping to make them successful.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it's a relationship is really what it is.
And to what we were talking about earlier, people need to understand as quickly as it can take them up social media. That's
Yes.
what we talked about.
Yeah.
Boy, it can do the opposite effect as well.
There are some man-made groups in social media that take pleasure in my opinion, ripping down a restaurant.
Yeah.
And none of them, to my knowledge, none of the ones we're talking about, which we won't name, have any experience running a restaurant, owning a restaurant, starting a restaurant. They know how to shut it down because it's Monday morning and they can tell you everything is wrong with that restaurant and they offer no assistance in helping them except for breaking it down. So to your point, social media is really good, and once you learn how to use it as a tool, it can help you. If you don't learn how to use it, it can hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. What got you into, because you don't just stay in your neighborhood. You don't find 4 or 5 restaurants that you like.
There's food everywhere, man.
There's food everywhere. So is that just because of food, or is it because you saw that what you were doing had an effect?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was just food, going and chasing it and finding good stuff.
I'm pretty humble when it comes to it. My wife keeps me well grounded. My love for food goes outside. There's no real boundaries. Right?
Yeah.
I want to go wherever there's great food. Now, I have a relationship with the kind of food I like, right? I don't typically go to white tablecloth restaurants. That's
Sure.
just not how I was raised.
Yeah.
I can, I just choose not to.
Yeah.
I find what I like, and I'm not afraid to try new things. And so it just kind of carries me wherever it goes.
Yeah, I think that's great. That was going to be my next question. Do you have, I know you like all food,
Yeah.
but if you had to, say, hey, man, if I had to pick 3 meals I could have this week, and only these 3 meals, it would be, do you have a favorite, or you just
Fried chicken,
fried chicken?
fried fish,
Really?
and gumbo.
And gumbo?
Yep.
You surprised me a little bit. You know what I thought you might say?
No.
Barbecue.
Well, so I do have a great appreciation for the art of barbecue, for
Okay.
smoking meat. I can't do it. I don't pretend to do it, but I know a lot of guys who do a really good job at that. And once, it's like any relationship. Once you build a trust with a restaurant, whether it be barbecue or whether it be soul food or whether
Sure.
it be Italian, they like for you to come. I mean, they want your feedback. It's a again, it's a trust issue, right? Hey, Darren, come by and take a look at this. Hey, Darren, come by and try this. Hey, this weekend we're going to do this. And quite honestly, where you see me going often is where the food is the best and the people are awesome.
Yeah, it's a combination of both those things.
Yeah.
So you said those three. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here.
Yeah.
Not to single one restaurant, but give me a couple in each of those categories that you like around the area.
I can't
Is
do
that
it.
putting you on you can't do it?
Man, you're
Is
like,
that putting you on the spot?
Who's your favorite child?
Not favorite, but if you had people in the area that were listening and you said,
so many.
There's so many.
There's so
See, when
many.
I think of fried chicken, I don't know. So I would ask for some help there.
I'm not giving you my mom's address, but that's where I go.
That'd be number one.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, barbecue for me is different because every place has something special.
Sure.
I prefer the brisket over here. I prefer the spare ribs over here. I love the sausage over there.
Okay.
And so every time I start to think about which place I want to go to, it's what am I hungry for?
Yeah.
I have great experiences at all of them, right? But in my mind, I have to categorize which food I'm hungry for and which one has the best.
Yeah.
And, hey, man, how close am I to that? If I'm like 12, 13 miles away, I think I can make it.
Depending on how hungry you are.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I agree with you because there's some places where I might go, the brisket here I like better.
Yeah.
Over here I want the ribs.
Absolutely.
Over here, he does the pulled pork better than any, So
Yeah.
To me, and there's no wrong answer. In
Sure.
food and wine and whiskey, whatever it is, to me there's no wrong. Your palate's your palate. What you like, you like.
Rather than name a place or a couple, I mean, literally go to my Facebook page or Instagram page.
And they're there. We'll give everybody the address.
So Facebook is Darren Lafferty. It's quite simple.
Yep.
I also have another one on Facebook called Texas Food Review.
Okay.
So Darren Lafferty is personal, but it has food. Texas Food Review is all food, no politics, no BS. No,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And then on Instagram is Whitebeard Photography _TX.
Okay. Whitebeard Photography _TX.
Yep. Is all food.
All food.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Definitely need to go check that out because I'm not as well. I love fried chicken. I come from the Midwest. My grandmother could cook some mean fried chicken.
Okay.
And we would do, I'd fish with my grandfather and we'd do fish fries every weekend.
Yep.
But around here, those are two things didn't expect you to say, and I'm not knowledgeable of a lot of places that serve really. I think of Frenchies when I think of fried chicken.
So fried chicken is difficult because my mom has raised the bar so high, and quite honestly, everything we had growing up was either fried, had a roux, and rice.
Right.
I mean, that's how she grew up. That's how she knew how to feed two giant, strapping, hungry boys.
Yeah.
And my dad, of course, right? So, chicken is really hard. It's really difficult. There's some places in town that do it well, but I don't think it's a great value. They charge way too much for me.
Well, that matters.
But again, when you grow up and you know that a whole chicken is $3, and I know how to break it down into 8 pieces, and I bread it myself, and I know now I'm all in for about $4, I can't go pay $40.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
It's not going to happen.
It's a lot of the reasoning I deal with when going out to certain places as well. I mean, it's a factor for everybody, right?
Fried chicken, my go-to fried chicken right now, which is not on the menu all the time, but they have specials, is Gatlin's Barbecue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fried chicken.
Michelle Wallace and Greg Gatlin's have dialed in and perfected the fried chicken.
One location, or they have multiple?
They have one location.
Where's it at?
It's on Ella Boulevard.
Ella Boulevard.
Yeah. I'll have to
Around
get you the
610
address.
going towards the stadium?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is absolutely fantastic.
We'll have to definitely tag them when we post this, and
As you should.
I'll have to run over there and check them out.
It's a special. And they don't have it all the time, but typically I'll get a little message the night before that says fried chicken tomorrow, and I'm like, cancel all appointments. I'll be.
So you've made it clear to them it's one of your favorites. They know if they're making it, they need to send you a little note.
I'm like a small, school child
Yeah.
who's peed his pants. I can't stop arguing about how I need fried chicken. I'm like, I got it. I got to have it.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's really good.
So let me ask you, you don't have any criteria for going to a new place. You don't have any. It's just if you hear about it, somebody's talking about it, you kind of get the urge to go check it out and see what's going on.
What I like to do with new locations, whether it be a soft opening or new locations, I like to wait, quite honestly.
I'm with you.
People like to run to a soft opening. They like to run and be the first ones in. And what I say to those people is good for you.
Yep.
But, man, I'm going to wait 90 days, 120 days get the kinks worked out.
Yep.
They might drop some items on the menu. They might add some items on the menu. And so I show grace by not going the first 90 to 120 days. Whereas most people want to go right away. They want to write it up, be the first one to show pictures. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm a little older, and I won't call it wisdom, but I will say I've learned and I'm disappointed during soft servings because not only is the service usually it's not up to par, right? You have new people who are just going through training.
And most of these new people don't have restaurant experience.
Correct.
Or a lot of them.
Now, not all of them, right?
Not all of them.
But that's the risk you take.
Managers in them do, but
Yeah, that's the risk you take going to a soft opening. I like to minimize my risk. I like to go
There you
where they're kind of solid and try it. And man, I get super excited though. About 100, half a year through, I'm like, man, that place is still open. Let's go try that out.
there you go.
Yeah.
They're doing something right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's jump to another topic.
Yeah.
We kind of mentioned it. You mentioned it. You do a podcast as well. You have a co-host, which is
Actually, he's the producer and I'm the co-host.
you're the co-host.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's Connor Moran.
Connor
right?
Moran, Chef Connor Moran.
He's a chef.
Yep.
And well, tell everybody your podcast to me I thought it was pretty cool because it's not just talking about food and restaurants. It's really kind of getting into the nuts and bolts of a restaurant industry.
So Chef Connor and I started this podcast because we didn't think there was something out there that represented our two backgrounds. He's a classically trained chef. I'm a 25 to 30 year food service veteran with distribution and purchasing and restaurant management. So we had this very eclectic perspective around the food and food industry. And so we just started interviewing mom and pops, independents,
Yeah.
to tell us, not necessarily like, hey, what's your favorite dish, or hey, what's this, or what. It's, hey, tell us about tell us your background, one, how'd you get in the restaurant business? And then two, tell us about sacrifices, failures, grinding.
Because there's a bunch of them.
Absolutely. I mean, people I don't think unless you've been down that road, you have an appreciation for what it takes to open up a restaurant.
Most people have no idea.
Right. And then, once we get past the doom and gloom, some of the hardest things, some of the lessons you've learned, what would you like to pass along to other restaurants? What do you want your legacy to be? What are your successes? What
Yeah.
are you most proud of? Right. And so the cost of goods told, which is very similar to cost of goods sold.
Right, which is a common phrase people
Absolutely.
probably heard.
We're just trying to tell the story and the cost that restaurant owners, key managers have paid along the way to be in the restaurant business.
I love the concept that you guys are doing. For me, when I started this show, it was about, because really what I was seeing in the food groups was just the pictures.
Yeah.
And hey, look at this food, go eat there. And it was like, for me, with the mom and pop places, I like them, they intrigued me. But there's more to the story.
Absolutely.
The people behind, because it's not a big staff. It's not these guys don't go hire an executive chef.
Right.
They're the chef. They're
Yeah.
the owner. And I thought, getting their voice heard and kind of who they are and how the idea came to be and why Katie and,
Sure.
all those kind of things and what they're hoping to do in the community. I thought, hearing that kind of gave a better connection to the community and the restaurant and getting people to go there. But yours really dives deep into
Look,
the struggles,
We've
the
heard
successes.
from married couples who run restaurants. We've heard about foreclosures.
Yeah.
We've heard about damn near divorces. We've heard about loss of children. I mean, we've heard about lots of things that are real that affect humans every single day.
Yeah.
And so besides telling that story, I think it was important for us to be able to create a connection between the listener and the restaurant itself and maybe the owners, so that everyone wants to say, oh, that's too expensive to go over there. Oh, this is something wrong. Well, man, if you just had a glimpse, if you just a fly on the wall of the experience that these people have put in to open up this restaurant, you may just back down a little bit and have an appreciation for the struggle and the successes.
Because to that point, people may know, may not. I think most don't. The margins of the restaurant business,
Single digit.
yeah, single digits. I mean, and if you're high single digits, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
If you get into the double digits, you're doing really well.
Yeah, I agree.
And people a lot of times don't realize location, cost of real estate wherever they are. I mean, that's a big factor in what prices might be on the menu as well. So you have to kind of take all those things into account, which a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I agree. There's so many moving parts and so many factors and variables that decide how much they can sell you a salad for.
Yeah.
Right? How much their tea is going to be.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong, everything's refillable now, so the $2.99 is pretty standard. I hate to see that because I won't drink $3 worth of tea.
Right.
Ever. I've tried.
Yeah.
And I lost. But my point is, there's a cost to everything.
Yeah.
And so rent is certainly huge. I think we'll see some softening after COVID-19.
I think so too.
But then at that point, who has the money to get into the restaurant business? So You look at even at the big guys, right? You look at Tillman Fertitta, who laid off how many thousands of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he gets his ship repoed, but whatever. That's not my business.
I'm with you there.
So, but I mean, it's a really great industry. I love this food industry. I really do. I love the stories. I love the food.
Yeah.
That's why I always want to go in the kitchen. I'm like, man, if I could just get in the kitchen and see what's going on. I love it. I used to sell restaurants, so I was the guy who walked in the back door all the time.
Yeah.
And so I feel very comfortable in the back of the kitchen.
That's very cool. Which leads me to, do you cook?
I do.
I mean, you like food, you like to eat food, you like to go, you do cook.
So after I got my food science degree,
Yeah.
I was going to go to culinary school. And unbeknownst to me and very naively, I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go figure, right?
to go to the CIA in New York was roughly $50,000. To go to Johnson & Wales was $45,000. I mean, that was a long time ago. So I can't imagine what it is now. But my point is, I couldn't afford to go. But I always had a passion to cook. And so I jumped right into the food industry. But I cook at home. I'm the cook. My wife and I have an agreement because I don't clean very well. So I cook and she cleans.
You got a better deal than I do.
And she wins too, though, because my mom taught me well, you clean as you go.
Yeah, I do. That's
right?
what I do.
So I leave a few dishes because we have an agreement.
Yeah.
And now we teach our daughter the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing dishes. So it works
Good.
out great. I don't know that my food is fantastic, but it is edible. And there's a lot of one-pot meals, just like my mom cooked.
Yeah.
But no one complains.
Well, if you're eating it with family and friends, that, you
Yeah.
can't go wrong there.
I agree.
So I see a lot of photos with your family. It seems like they've kind of gotten into what you're into. They like to, is that by, you're not grabbing them by the arm and saying, here we go. I'm assuming they love kind of the same things you do. It's
Well, that may be up for debate.
Uh-oh.
I love spending time with my family,
Yeah.
my wife and daughter. I absolutely treasure that time together. I think in the beginning I drug them along quite a bit. And then
Okay.
they said, hey, it seems like you have a hobby now. Well, go ahead and do that without us, and then we'll see you in 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And they were always happy when I came home with 10 to 12 to-go containers worth of food. But then I got to relive it. I got to tell them this was made this way. This is how this is. And so it's been fun, but they appreciate, that.
I'm just thinking with those to-go boxes, you could open it and go, how good is that? And they'd say really good, and you could go, think about how much better it would have been if you'd have been with me.
Yeah. I still guilt them into it every now and
Do
then.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they let me go do my photography shoots on my own. They appreciate, the artistic ability, and
Yeah.
they don't really want to be somewhere for 4 hours anyway. With me, pulling a trigger and talking about photography and whatever. But they're very supportive, and that's why they get to go, and that's why they like being there. And when I take pictures, they don't have a choice. I take pictures with them in it. And
Yeah. And they're getting posted if you want to post them, and that's just it.
My 17-year-old doesn't get to look at it. Can I look
Yeah.
at it? Nope, you can't.
Yep.
It's going up. So
You do a great job, and I enjoy seeing your family out there with
I
you in all the
appreciate
different
that.
places on the weekend. But, people know you, I think, mostly. I'm sure, a lot of people know you personally because I think you have a lot of friends around the community. But for those that don't know who you are outside of the food world, and I can see from some photos that you're big into fishing. But what other things are you into besides?
man, that's a really good question. So I've done a little
Pulling
bit.
the veil back a little bit here.
Yeah, no, I'm totally comfortable with that, except I always fall back on I'm a food guy.
Just food. That's
I'm not-
kind of
I'm
where
not
you
a-
live.
I'm not a foodie. I'm
Yeah.
not an influencer. I'm
Give,
not a,
give people your definition of foodie, because you and I had this
I'm
conversation.
first of all, I'm too old to be a foodie.
Okay.
I'm not pretty enough. So I just do what I do, man. I don't want to be a foodie. I don't want to be the guy who shows up with his iPhone and all I care about is followers and likes. I don't give a shit.
Influencing.
I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
I apologize, but I'm at the age now where I'm not too concerned about my followers.
Right.
Never have been. Never understood the game of followers. Didn't want to. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I just wanted to support restaurants. And if they appreciated that, that was good enough for me.
Yeah. Well, you do a good job of that.
Thank you.
So other than food, fishing, that about covers it?
I mean, we're a pretty active family. I played college football for a year, and then because of an injury, didn't play anymore. My wife played college volleyball, so we are still pretty active. And between biking or some sort of weight resistance, we're moving quite
Yeah.
a bit. Now,
Okay.
look, I love Bluebell. I
There
love
you go.
popcorn. I love sitting on the couch watching movies, but you got to try to find a balance in there
Yeah.
somewhere. And so,
We already heard you like fried food with chicken
Man.
and
this could only been better if you'd have found me a spicy fried chicken place to go to.
there you go.
Now,
Wow.
there's
Now
a couple in town, but
now I know. Might be that I have you over to the house next time. I do my chicken and see what you think about
I
that.
saw you were making like trout almondine or fish almondine or something.
Oh, that was the I did some halibut. Some almond crusted halibut last night. Yeah. Did a paella on Sunday.
I saw that.
That was from trying to learn from Chef here.
Did he teach you well?
He did. He did. It came out great. For people came over. If they didn't like it, they said they did. So
good.
I appreciate them lying to me. If they did.
That makes you feel better.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a few minutes, try some of this food Chef's bringing out, and then have him join us, and you can kind of tell us what you think about his food.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good. We'll be right back in a few minutes with Chef Martinez as well. Hey, everyone, we're back. We are, I'm full there. I had a good amount of food we just got done putting in our belly, man. That was pretty good.
I'm equally as full.
Yeah.
I think you gave me the lion's share of it, though, because you've eaten here a few times.
I've eaten here a few times, so I
Trying to
definitely wanted you to experience that.
Fatten me up.
Nah, well, you're in pretty good shape. You can handle it. But Chef is joining us now. Chef Martinez, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I see that he put a gun on your head, so you had to eat everything.
You saw me twisting his arm?
Twisting his arm, for sure.
Chef, thank you for letting us come in. And, Darren and I were talking about recording a show and doing something with Darren. I find him, very cool what he's doing in the community and everything. And in our chat, talking about, he's been out in Katy a while. He used to live in the Katy area. Okay. And we were talking about restaurants, and yours came up, and he hadn't been here. And I said, hey, man, we got to get out and have you experience what Chef Martinez is doing a little bit. And you were gracious enough to let us come in and record here tonight and have him sample a little bit of your food.
I'm happy to have him here. Have you both here. Again, mi casa, su casa. I'm happy to have you here in my house.
Thank you for having us.
So let's remind everybody, when I first started doing the podcast, it's been several months ago, you were one of my first guests that we did a show with.
Right.
It's been a while. So let's talk a little bit again about Essentials Kitchen and what you're doing here. And you have a couple new things that you've put on the menu that people in Katy might be excited to hear about.
Well, every day I've been posting about chef and kitchen tricks and hacks on my Facebook page and Instagram. I wanted to give tips of what we think in the kitchen, how we think, and what we do. And the response was pretty nice, pretty well received. And last week I started thinking, wait a minute, we haven't talked about what's in season.
Yeah.
What's in season? It's important to cook what's in season. The products are fresher, tastier, cheaper, and we have to use those things. And I came up with an idea of talking about peaches that are nice in season now. I see them in the supermarket quite more often. So I started talking about peaches, and I said that it wouldn't be fair if I don't do a recipe with peaches. So now I'm doing a filling for my cachapas, arepas, and tostones with sauteed beef tenderloin, grilled peaches, and avocado salsa.
And it's good. We had it tonight. It's fantastic.
It's really good, no?
It's really good. So, Darren, I wanted to chat with you a little bit about Chef's menu because you hadn't been here before.
Right.
And, obviously you know the cuisine as far as Venezuelan or South American type food.
That's very generous.
A little bit. I'm assuming you did. Yeah.
I'm a novice at it for sure.
Okay.
I'm a fan of it, but.
So Chef obviously stuck with, I would say, your traditional dishes here.
Yeah.
At Essentials because we started with the empanadas. Mm-hmm. And tell us, Chef, the three that we had.
We had the manchego, dates, and spinach, ground beef. That's a Chilean style empanada, ground beef, and the hard-boiled eggs, olives, and raisins. And then you had the chicken stew with jack cheese. Those are the three empanadas you had today.
Which were really good. And then you have your sauce. Which
the green sauce, the cilantro sauce.
The cilantro sauce.
Did I tell you about that story, about how that cilantro sauce came out?
No, but you started selling it by the jar, and I got
one. I started selling it. Well, I didn't think of that idea. People asked me for it.
There you go.
But the cilantro sauce, I wanted to imitate a sauce that I used to eat in Venezuela. I never cooked it before, and I said, I think it's this way. And I didn't get even close to it, but it came out this sauce that people are loving it. So it's an 8-ounce container that people are buying.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I had somebody asking me for gallons of it.
That's awesome. So we had the empanadas, then we moved on to your ceviche, which is for me, it's a different take on ceviche just because I'm not used to sweet potato puree being in what I call traditional ceviches that I've had other places.
Ceviche, Peruvian ceviche, they serve you a piece of boiled sweet potato, okay? And they serve you with chocolate. What I do is I just roast the potato in the oven, wrap it in aluminum foil, peel them off, and puree it in a food processor. Little salt, and the secret is a touch of honey, and then you have
The secret, no longer the secret.
Yeah, no kidding.
I want to see how many people come with that secret here. If you come here and tell me what the secret is in the sweet potato puree, you get a free ceviche.
I'm coming back tomorrow.
Yeah, no kidding. So then we had the ceviche, then we had an arepa.
Arepa.
The arepa.
The arepa.
And then the cachapa.
The cachapa. Yeah, those are weird names, right? Well, we as Venezuelans, it sounds like a smoked brisket for you guys. But arepa is a corn flour, pre-cooked corn flour patty that we put in the griddle. After it's cooked, we put it in the open like a pocket and stuff it.
Which is a cool little oven from Venezuela that you have.
That is a high technology.
Yeah, it is high technology.
The cachapa is the fresh corn pancake. We're saying like a cornbread.
Yeah, like sweet cornbread.
Sweet cornbread.
It's amazing. Yeah, very good.
Okay, so that's Chef telling us about what we had.
Yeah.
Your impressions, first time here.
Yes.
Yeah,
all
pretty
of
good.
it.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Good. I didn't steer you wrong.
Not at all.
Okay, good.
No, and I'm a fan of savory, salty, sweet,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that fusion going on here. The ceviche in particular has a little bit of sweetness from the sweet potato, but then there was also some fruit juice in there along with the lime juice, passion fruit. That's all day for me.
A little cilantro, a little avocado.
Oh, super fresh.
Yeah, very fresh.
Very fresh.
And the one thing I left out that we had tonight, which I, never ate it before eating it here, Chef. Never did. And now it's one of the things I look forward to is the kale salad, the little kale salad he puts together with the mango on it. And
quinoa, mango.
a little dressing, got the almonds in
sliced
there,
almond.
a little fresh onion.
Yeah, and it's a honey vinaigrette.
Honey vinaigrette,
That's another secret.
Yeah. No more. I feel like I'm leaving with all the secrets. I feel dirty.
Yeah, a little bit, huh? the trick is, can you put it together as well as he
I was
does?
going to say, chefs that share their secrets know
Good luck.
that if you can go home and execute it, it's going to be a far cry from being able to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm just glad, Darren, you enjoyed coming in and enjoyed the food. I won't tell you there wasn't any pressure on me. I know how you get around and where you eat and kind of the food you have, but I didn't have any doubt that Chef would put some good stuff on the table.
No, it was a great choice, and for everyone who hasn't been here yet, right? It's quaint, it's cozy, it's warm inside, but the food is just the opposite. It is fresh, and it is vibrant, and it is very indicative of Venezuelan culture, but with a little spin on it.
Yeah, a little modern.
Each chef takes their own liberty of making it unique to themselves, and you've done that. But still keeping it traditional and delicious. So
Right.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
And when we're normal, man, he does a great job. Live music's on Friday and Saturday nights, which makes it a lot of fun. The thing I like about his restaurant when you come in on the weekend, or that's usually when you're out with family and friends and things like that. Even if you come with just me and my wife, people who are in here, it's just this natural kind of chit chat and visit and get along.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like you're coming to like a big group dinner, and you're going to have a good time with people in here.
I've seen it happening here. People sitting at the table, and then after the restaurant is small, but from that table in the back, for the table on the front, they're saying hello to each other and sending little plates. You have to taste these. Friends came out of here.
I remember last time we were here before all this started, just before, you had the live music on a Saturday night, the guy playing the guitar, and I remember the guy eating at this table.
Right.
Eventually I guess he was a musician, got up and went and talked to him and ended up
Really?
playing and singing a song as well. That's just the environment here. It's really
So
laid back.
is there dancing going on too? Do you move tables out?
Oh, yeah.
Like after 10?
Yes, they did.
Yes, there is. I don't want to promote that, but it happens. It happens.
Hey, if it keeps them coming back, let them move the tables. Right?
We're a family. I think I told you that before cooking, I like people, and I do this because of people and because I like people to have fun and enjoy their meal. I'm more on the old way of restaurant business. Have fun, have a good service, enjoy your meal, make friends. I'm more about that. I was actually asked the other day. I'm sorry to make it too long, but the technology. I'm against technology because we're gonna lose that contact with people. Now people can order online, and they get an order in the kitchen. I don't even know who ordered the food.
Yeah.
I'm against that, but it's gonna have to happen, no? I gotta keep going with that.
Well, to that note, it's one of the reasons locally I don't use any of the delivery services.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go in and say hello to the people who are making my food and tell them I appreciate what they're doing.
I'm not a third-party delivery guy. I'm not even a pizza delivery guy.
Me neither.
When pizzas deliver, I go pick it up. I want to say hello. I want to high-five the owner, and I just want to go in and have a good time.
Absolutely. Gives me a few minutes to say hello. Usually it's me and my wife who will come in.
And I'm happy to see you guys here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, happy to see everybody here when they come in. It was sad at the beginning with this coronavirus that I had to wave people from far away to how are you instead of hugging them. I'm a hugger. I'm a handshaker. I'm a kisser. I'm a kisser. I'm people guy.
Yeah.
And I had to wave from far away to people say hello. That was painful. Well, now it's going back to a new normal.
It'll come back eventually.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it.
Well, gentlemen, thanks for joining me tonight.
Yeah.
Appreciate the conversation, Darren. And Chef, thank you again for letting us hang out here and giving us some good food, man. We appreciate that.
Anytime. We can do this every day.
Fantastic.
Wouldn't that be nice? Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey in Your Own Backyard. And until our next episode, enjoy your next pour.